work on different limitations and barriers so that we can really use the potentials of AI in every sector of our country for the betterment of our people. So let's move on to the the policy of assessment that our new national curriculum has framework has designed. So we can see that the assessment is just shift from summative, totally summative to formative, and teachers are using this process of assessment. So they are taking performance record of the students of each of the learning experience. Then they are just putting all the records in the system, and the system actually generating a report card along with all the performance indicator, and the system is supporting a unitary report card system across the country. So there is no discrimination at all of developing this kind of report card based on the teacher's capacity. So we'll discuss it more later. Let's move on to just basic understanding of our multidimensional experiential learning, how we are actually dealing with the assessment. So in each of the stage of the learning experience, teachers are taking notes and looking to the students' performance indicators. So the three-stage assessment is happening. First thing is like continuous, which is done during the learning experience, and second type of assessment is doing twice in a year. That is a summative part of the new continuous new formative assessment. So this summative is not like previous one. It is like also a experiential way of summative exam. Some part maybe in the paper pencil test, but most of things are like projects, and you can see in the learning methods: project-based, problem-based, investigative, collaborative, and communicative. So all this learning happened in the schools, but there is a summative part. And another thing that is included in this new assessment system, that is the behavioral assessment by all the subject teachers, which is not dependent on each subject. So one student is assessed by almost 10 teachers for his behavioral attitude and different criteria. So including all of these criteria, we designed this formative assessment system. So this system was soft launched by our Honorable Prime Minister in the last year, October, and then disseminated by our Honorable Education Ministers and ICT Ministers and our distinguished MPs. So you can find this system in different format, like the teacher has a mobile app and web version of the assessment, and for the management part, there is another platform that designed the school system, because we don't have the unitary school system. The schools have different levels of infrastructures, different learning delivery methods. So we provided management platform for the schools managers and independent platform for the subject teachers, so that they can use this platform for the subject-based assessment. So if we just understand current situation of this platform, at 2024, we are dealing with total four grades, that is grade 6, 7, 8, and 9. So currently we have 500,000 teachers registered in this platform, and almost 88 million students from 4 grades are already registered. Some schools are not yet included in this platform because of different legislative issues. Right now we are dealing with 54 subjects from 4 grades. So each schools are assessing under 54 subjects. So basically there are 5 modules who are just launched. We are planning to add more modules. First of all, teachers are inputting the performance indicators record for each of the students, and based on the record, we are providing report cards at the end of the year. There is a group assessment module this is developed, so we are going to launch it soon. there is the attendance system built in this platform. So this will be also the national attendance platform from this year, and we are working with the evidence that will be uploaded as an attachment for students learning, understanding, and their evidence will be stored in the platform, so that if anyone want to understand the learning progression or levels of, so they can understand from this attachment along with the input from the teachers. So this system was primarily designed by the NCTB, and this platform is also like supported by ICT Division A2I program and our good partner UNICEF. So we have developed this platform with a very short time, but right now it will be distributed and managed by our education boards, who are the legal authorities of the National Assessment of Public Examination. So we have a total 11 education board who are actually taking preparation to take the first ever public exam of this new curriculum at 2025. So we are preparing to make it a national platform for public examination also. So I'm going fast just to give you a quick overview how different management is getting benefit from this platform. Our Honorable Minister already mentioned some of the areas, that is the data to decision making and also different understanding of the platform, because we'll have the national data of teachers, students, institutions, and in student levels. So definitely ministry and directors will get this kind of data to have the policy decisions. Education board will have the centralized system. Schools will have the total management modules within their hands. Teacher will have very much efficient, will increase the efficiency of the teachers. Definitely the time and effort will be lessened, and the teacher bias will be checked, because we also want to understand if there is any gap of the teachers to assess this platform. So we can use AI related tools to understand teachers' bias. And also from the student and parents' point of view, they will get the achievement reports, as well as AI-based career counseling, different kind of visual presentation of their performance, and what can they do with their loss of learning. So these kind of things will happen through this platform. And definitely A2I, we are supporting technological support to the development of this platform. So analyzing this big data and all kind of managing all kind of cyber securities, using AI for the future. So we are working on these areas to enhance this platform for the better use of the national assessment. So I'm just moving fast for this part. So we are already practicing and developing some of the tools which are based on the principles of using generative AI and predictive AI. So you'll get the ideas later. So just moving forward, how we are actually developing this platform from the national curriculum. We have seen that each of the subject has some competencies, and each of the competencies are distributed through and understood through some performance indicator. And for each of the performance indicator, there are different performance level for the students. When students show some of the performance, so teacher will understand, and then what happened, they actually track the competencies of the students. So we can see here there is a guideline for the teacher, which activities to be observed for each of the indicators. Each of the performance indicators, there are some guidelines for each of the subject. So the teacher can easily track and understand the students' activities, students' performance, and then they just put in onto the three level of geometric sign you are seeing. But each of the geometric sign has an explanation where student exactly stand for each of the performance indicator. So you can just see the overview of the platform. Here you can see only 4 steps. Teacher just join with the login, and they can see. You can there are some screen which are in Bangla. I'm sorry because they are we are not yet worked with the English version. So teacher can just select the subject. Then there will be in the middle phase there will be a competency level. If a teacher select the competency, they will be showing one of the performance indicator, and after selecting one of the performance indicator, they will get the student list where they will put the assessment criteria, either rectangle, circle, or a triangle. So each of the sign has their own statement of the performance of the student are going through. So after completing this list, the teacher can submit the performance indicator, and after completing all of the performance indicator, teacher can get the result sheet after a certain period. So another thing that is also important, I have said earlier, that is there is a behavior indicator. So a teacher, one subject teacher can assess the group of students based on his or her observation of the behavior, but all other teacher, like 10 subjects, are doing the same thing for this group of students. So we are also getting a very robust behavior indicator from a specific group of students for each class. So this is also helping to understand teacher student readiness, students performance through the system. So this is also a part of our assessment in the new curriculum. So this is the class teacher overview. They can see all subject performance of individual students, and they can download report from here, which is really needed to deliver to the students and parents. So these are the sample of the learning scale. So we have 7 scale of assessment, starting from at the highest level, that is the upgrading and achieving, advancing, activating, exploring, and the last level would be the elementary. So teacher will assess student on the PI, but the PI is the connection with the competency and the dimension of the subjects. So each of the subject has different dimension to understand the capacity of the student and understand the competence of the students on that subject, on that particular grades. So of this kind of report card, where the 7 scale assessment will be the final output for the students. This is one of the dashboard that is designed for our administrator, for example, at the sub-district and district level. So this is a sub-district level assessment for a school administrator or a Upazila education officer can see how many students are daily taking attendance in the school, or how many number of requests they are getting from the schools, what are the average number of performance are doing every day by each of the schools. The list is in the below. And from the national point of view, we can always see which district and which sub-districts are performing well and or falling behind. In the map, we have also developed this kind of monitoring system built in this platform. So we can also say this is also a national monitoring support system. Though we have a digital monitoring system, but this system will support, will support other systems to improve the monitoring of the implementation of our curriculum, and also really check the teachers' performance, the student performance, and the field administration performance for the betterment of our education. So I don't want to go detail on this part, but this is how we have designed the process. How we are managing the big data in different data warehouse, and how we are actually using AI platform to guide students as for their individual need. So personalized guidance, student all data will be in their own profile. There will be a digital locker for each of the students. So based on our national education policy guidance and our different policy guidance, the student will get this kind of support from the system. So in a nutshell, if we just see how different stream of data we are getting, already we have said that from the institution point of view, we are getting the robust data, though we didn't have complete picture of the educational institution before, but right now we are getting very clear data set, including government, MPO, non-MPO, even though the new schools who are not yet registered in the government system. So we are getting all the school information. We're also getting we're also getting teachers data, regular and irregular contract, the real-time location in the school, how much time they are spending in the schools, because we have used this mobile app also tracking their locations, and also the professional information, how they are dealing with this platform, how they are using this platform, what are the capacity. We can also understand from this platform. And finally, from the student point of view, we are getting all this data to support them to enhance their learning. So just a quick overview of the student progression. If we see from attendance point of view, we can really track the dropout tendency. If in different region in Bangladesh, we can understand there are tendency to not attend in the class, especially in the monsoon and in the different season in different locations. So if we can see a student tend to be absent in the school regularly, the tendency to be dropped out is become higher. So if we have the proper information of the attendance of the students for the whole year and for the different years, we can always say which group of the students are more likely to be dropped out from the system. So this will also support in different ways to understand national dropout ratio. And in the right side, you can see for different grades, we can always track student learning progression of subject, if they are getting well or not, if they are losing their performance for a certain subject. So the pattern will analyze, and definitely after getting this pattern,
yes.
This is also a
pattern. Sorry, Shafat, can you wrap up in half a minute?
Just 1 minute slide. So these are the area we are supporting based on the learning analytics. So we definitely detect the gaps. We'll definitely support student, and AI-powered warning will be used. And we also support the inclusivity point of view. We also support each of the students based on their special needs. So this is the last slide. You can see we are also already working with a generative chatbot where you can just ask a question about the platform and different things. We have also plugged in ChatGPT. I've seen some of the questions from the participants. So we're trying to make it easier for the teacher, so that if they have any problem understanding this platform, using this platform, and also understanding the new curriculum, they can just ask here, and they will get the information. We in UNICEF. I hope I could share my design and experience with you. So if any question, I'm open for that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Shafat. I think you gave a very comprehensive introduction of the progress and achievements of Bangladesh's design in the AI-powered assessment system. I saw many questions in the chat, but we are 25 minutes behind the schedule, so I will skip Q&A part, but I invite you and also Professor Laxo to answer questions in the Q&A. They have many questions, and the one particular question I think it really needs to be addressed is like, the inclusion and equity issue, how we can make sure AI-powered learning assessment benefit those most disadvantaged students and teachers. So you may take the initiative and answer the questions in the chat. Now I will give the floor to Mr. Shakil Ahmed to moderate the panel discussion. And sorry about the delay. I think the webinar probably will be extended for 20 or 25 minutes. Over to you, Shakil.
Okay. Thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are, when you are. I'm Shakil Ahmed, a futurist and educator and a storyteller from Ridiculous Futures, and a resident futurist and an e-learning specialist at A2I. And I'll be your moderator for today's discussion on the prospect of AI-powered. So in an ideal world, we know that students will be assessed based on what is taught, but the reality is that given traditional high-stakes summative assessments, that students are taught based on how they might be assessed. Examinations which students can excel at just by memorizing encourage teachers to get students to just memorize. PISA data unfortunately shows us that students who use memorization as their primary strategy are usually some of the lowest achieving in the world. Traditional assessments obviously run the risk of one-size-fits-all testing and the inability to provide personalized feedback to learners in a timely manner. You may get a 60 or 80 out of 100, but what do those numbers really mean? What aspects of the subject am I good at? What are my areas of improvement? According to educator Joe Boiler, the idea that students will improve learning just by being tested is as wrong as thinking that we can make children grow faster just by measuring them. Now, instead of trying to reform what is being taught and how, much research has gone into reforms in assessment, hoping that a change in assessment will change classroom behavior. Instead of relying on summative assessments, which are largely assessments of learning, there's a push towards having more formative assessments, which are assessments being done as you learn, assessments for learning. Now, with the improvements in AI technologies, formative assessments may be done more effectively, allowing educators to evaluate in more innovative ways and to personalize feedback as well, enhancing learning outcomes. However, with these opportunities come challenges. Can equity be achieved for all learners at scale if AI-based assessments are used? What would be the role of teachers given the increased efficiency of AI? How do we ensure there's no bias in our AI-based algorithms? Our esteemed panelists will explore these complex issues given the expertise and vantage points of the system. And without further ado, let us dive into the discussion. With the first round of questions, I will introduce each panelist briefly and then ask them the first question. For the first two rounds of questions, you're requested to stick to 2 to 3 minutes per question, given our crunch in time. Okay, so I'll start with Professor Ahmed Obaidul Sattar Bhuiya. He is a senior specialist at the National Curriculum and Textbook Board, the NCTB, a body under the Ministry of Education in Bangladesh, which is responsible for the development of curriculum and teaching and learning materials for primary and secondary education. As has been expressed, Bangladesh is going through a national curriculum transformation, and Professor Sattar's key responsibilities are in the research and development of the primary curriculum and the development of training materials and providing for the new curriculum and especially the new national assessment platform. On that note, Professor Sattar, can you tell us what is the current progress of this platform and to what extent is AI being used? What has been your experience so far?
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you see, currently our nation is going through a very big change in education. We call it transformation. And in this particular transformative area, we are trying to use AI so that we can enhance the learning experience of our students as well as for our teachers. So what our AI can do is when we are using the Nuipunno app, which is basically an assessment app, AI can help us to identify the assessment bias of our teachers. If there is any kind of bias, AI can readily identify that, and also we'll be able to mitigate that particular problem with standardized statistical moderation. AI can also help us to find if there are any kind of problem in our system. Like if them or schools or in the management or anywhere else. So in those areas also AI, this particular data, as you see, our data from the various part of our country will be in this Nipuna. It can also help us to make some personalized learning plan for the students with the analysis of the learning progression of the students, so that we can make it more personalized for the students. And at the same time, we can also do some provide them some real-time feedback, so that which might not be able sometimes possible for the teachers, because our classroom size is very large. So if in a large classroom size we can properly use AI, in that case it will be able to give us real-time feedback, and it can also help us to find out identify the career goals, and they can really develop them like that. So yes, we're working on this particular areas, and the opportunities are limitless. So we hope that we'll be able to do all these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sattar, for pointing out some of the advantages with the new AI system. On that note, I have the pleasure now to introduce Nirmal Patel, the CEO of SmartPaper and Chief Data Scientist at Play Power Labs. He's considered one of the leading educational data experts in India, and one of his most widely used innovations, SmartPaper, is being used in 65,000 government schools in India's Rajasthan state to score paper tests of 4.6 million students. Now, Mr. Patel, since Bangladesh is investing on a national learning platform, as you may have heard so far, for formative assessment, to developing an appropriate software application, can you give us an introduction to an app like SmartPaper for learning assessments?
Sure, thank you. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm joining in from India today. And so we are using SmartPaper in India's Rajasthan state currently, and it's being used at a population scale to digitize learning data of all 3 to 8 grade students in all of the government schools. And the reason why we are able to scale this assessment data digitization AI to all schools is because it works through paper digital integration. Right? Because paper worksheets are everywhere, children are always doing assessment activities, either it's formative or summative. And there is just so much wealth of learning data on paper, and more so in the formative side, when they're developing their handwriting and so on, right? And so the more you can capture what's happening on paper, you get really authentic data, right? Which is really represents what students are learning. And and let me just quickly show how it looks, when people are using it. And so all the participants can get an idea. So this is how, so you can see that the exams can, at the time of doing exams, you don't need digital device for every child. They can give it on paper and it works in all scenarios. And after the exam, you can scan the papers using the mobile phones. And that's also compared to OMR. You don't have to take papers anywhere. Using the mobile phone, you can scan it then and there. And the data, of course, it gives so much back to the system that teachers get data to do data-driven teaching. You can generate competency report cards, which are useful for parents also. In Rajasthan state, they're given to all parents. Of course, you have individual child level data, competency level data, so you can do a lot of analytics. And of course, I have also, you can apply any algorithms or detection to understand any customer malpractice and further ensure that the data is really authentic, believable, and leads to the impact. So this is, I think, how we are using SmartPaper.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. I think you've really shown us how to embrace the ethos of the best technology is what we have and to use existing technologies like paper and mobile phones. That is definitely a very useful solution that you just showed us. So now for our next guest, Dr. Mona Lisa Khan, who's currently the Deputy Director of Training at the Directorate of Secondary Higher Education under the Ministry of Education. The Directorate of Secondary Higher Education is responsible for the wide-scale implementation of the new national curriculum. Accordingly, Dr. Khan is also the Member Secretary of the Curriculum Coordination Cell of the Directorate, working towards the implementation of the new curriculum at the secondary level. Now, Dr. Khan, given that you're in the intersection between implementation and training, could you share your perspective on how AI could be innovatively integrated into teacher training and assessment programs? Specifically, what types of AI features or tools do you believe would be most beneficial for empowering teachers to effectively identify and address the diverse learning needs of students?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Am I audible to you? Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister and distinguished guests and participants, good afternoon. Yeah, it's really high time when AI can be used instrumentally and innovatively. In this regard, let me remind you that we are actually going through a series of changes in our education, and our new curriculum is implemented in 2023. New subjects like digital technologies included here, where the teachers of this subject are getting the training. Regarding the traditional perspective of our classroom scenario, the methods or the materials, everything has been changed. We are now focusing on the problem-solving classroom, or we are calling it competency-based teaching learning approaches, which is very much student-centered. Everything is actually giving some new scope for the teachers to get more training on this particular area. They have to record the students' performance. Previously they did it, but now the data they have to collect and record, and they have to work on their future decision. Now let's check how our actually teachers do in their regular classroom. They keep records of their students' attendance. They have to plan the lesson. They have to contact their parents. I mean, from planning to preparation to teaching and to achieve the learning outcomes, they have to go through lots of activities like monitoring activities and so on. So keeping in mind all these things, AI generated tools definitely can be useful in training. So I mean, training teachers to become a better teacher is definitely a very in time work for us. We are trying to focus on that. Now, you have also asked me whether the AI-driven innovative tools we can consider to be incorporated in our training plans. Yes, in that case, AI can support personalized learning, as Sattar sir has already mentioned, while Sattar sir has also mentioned. AI can support personalized learning and resources both for our teachers and students. And teachers through these AI-driven tools can analyze their strengths and weaknesses. They can record student performances. They can also compare and contrast and recommend new courses or resources. Also, virtual teaching assistance can be given with the help of AI. But the reality is we are in a time when before our teachers getting training on AI, our students have started using ChatGPT. This is the reality. So in their exam script, in their assignments, they have also already started using. It's hard to train each and every one. I mean, I'm talking about the teachers instead of encouraging them for personalized learning in our teaching modules. So yes, of course, we believe that teachers, if they are smart, having good knowledge on AI-driven tools, and if they can be able to bring them into their classroom practices, then of course they can be able to foster students' AI literacy as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. And I think you've definitely pointed out the spirit of lifelong learning. That I think all of us are learners, whoever we are. So I think so AI can also potentially help in our personalized learning. And you also pointed out the challenge that sometimes young people or youth are probably far ahead in terms of adapting to technologies, and whether how do we actually catch up and change our pedagogical approach accordingly. So I think we can come back to that. But for our final panelist, it is my pleasure again to introduce Tang Xueli, the Director of Policy Analysis of the Tomorrow Advancing Life Education Group of China. TAL has been a long-term partner of UNESCO and supports the project Artificial Intelligence and the Futures of Learning. Now, Ms. Tang, given the future of learning, what AI tools and techniques, as well as learning analytics, have been integrated in TAL's platforms to support continuous assessment for personalized learning?
Thank you. It's my honor to have the opportunities to share with you our work and thoughts on AI, on how to use AI, especially large language model technology, to build personalized learning applications. And I want to share what we have do in China. Okay, so let me summarize who we are in China. TAL. Okay. TAL is a global education technology company. Our services including offline tutoring, online tutoring, educational publishing, and smart learning devices. And currently, we have offline learning centers in 10 countries and regions around the world. Besides, as you know, this is show that TAL has been entitled by the Ministry of Science and Technology of People's Republic of China as the primary constructors of China's national AI open platform, leading the smart education sector. In the past 20 years, we keep exploring the personalized learning technologies. For example, in the offline middle-sized class business, we conduct a pre-class diagnosis and try to divide the students of the same level into one class for graded teaching. And in the online large-size class business, although the teacher teaches the same content to thousands of students, the exercises each student receives after class are unique, and it was generated based on their interaction in class. Behind this personalized learning business is a set of technologies, including knowledge graph and the student learning profiling, especially the students' knowledge learning profiles records the degree to which the student has mastered each knowledge point, so that we can know which weak knowledge point they still have and accurately carry out targeted exercises.
Sorry, Ms. Tang, are you changing the slides? Because we don't see the slide change.
Okay, this is change?
No, we only see slide number 2 now.
Here? So I have changed it to the traditional technology for personalized learning. It's
not changing on our screen. Maybe you can reshare the screen and try again. Yeah, now it's changing. Yeah.
Okay, it's right. It's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, we missed a bit of that. Yeah.
Okay. However, but this is not enough. So that is why it's not enough. So with the rise of the LLM technology, there is a possibility of completely solving these problems. Compared to technology such as search engine and knowledge graph, LLM is a more efficient and advanced way to learn knowledge from data and use it. Okay. There are already a lot of excellent LLMs in the world, such as GPT-4, but if we use GPT-4 directly for the personalized learning, it's still not good enough. So we aim to develop an educational LLM that is more suitable for personalized learning, and we limit MathGPT because mathematics is the most difficult and fundamental subject. And the TAL started our business from math tutoring, and we have a profound accumulation in math. To create a personalized learning product for mathematics based on LLM, these are the two key challenges need to be addressed. Because of the time limit, I just show you the performance of the MathGPT. This is the dark blue bar shows the MathGPT's performance compared to the Baidu and the Xunfei and GPT-4. The difference LLMs on the I think that is should call data sets. This is the different performance that we used the LLM used on the data sets. And we also used GPT. We also used our MathGPT to test the data set in middle school and high school. And these are the different subjects besides mathematics. And they are including physics, chemistry, and biography, and so on. And this is the performance that we compared to the different LMS. And I think that maybe you have interested to try what the MathGPT really are. So this is the website, and we have playground service has been opened. You can visit it to experience it.
Okay. Sure.
Yes. Besides that, in fact, after the automatic problem solving, the intelligent tutoring part is more challenging, which means how to explain the question to students clearly. These are some examples. In fact, we can. This is an exam that. For the same step of the same question, different students may have different follow-up questions. For example, entry level, middle level, master level, as the same question, but they will have the different answers based on their own basis. There is still a demo, but I think time is limited. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. No, I think we can come back to you again, but thank you for at least showing us more about MathGPT and the tutoring solution. And I think you can also share the links in the chat, so maybe people can also access it at the same time. But in the interest of time, we'll move on. So I think Professor Sattar, I mean, you've seen some of the discussion that's been happening. We were wondering that at one hand, of course, AI is being used for assessments and teaching and learning, but how do we actually prepare for our students for their own learning and their employment in the era of AI? And how will teachers be prepared to actually help students, I guess, learn about AI, but also to use AI further as well? So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think in this particular area, we are very fortunate. We have been moved into a competency-based curriculum. And in this particular competency-based curriculum, we have special emphasis on digital literacy, critical thinking, creative thinking, and problem solving. And these are the core skills for our students to be AI-prepared workforce. So our competency-based curriculum is in the backbone. They are making our students AI prepared. And not only that, in our particular new curriculum, we have introduced programming from grade 3 level. So they are trying to have some idea about the Scratch program. So they are trying to have some understanding about the programming. They are doing it logically. So then at this moment in the class 3, they are not coding, but they are having the programming sense. And gradually it is been more elaborate in higher grades. And in class 10 mathematics, there are some particular areas like matrix and functions which are directly related with the understanding of AI has been introduced, and there are a specific discipline named as digital technology, which really deals with the cutting edge competencies, cutting edge technologies like AI and ChatGPT, generative AI, and all these AI platforms. And in this age of AI, it is very imperative to fetch the reliable information, and for that particular reason, we have introduced media literacy. in this particular area, students are given the insightful ideas, how can they really verify the sources and really identify which is real data they really want and can use it safely. So at the same time, we are using the ethical use of AI. They can really benefit them by themselves. And as you know, in the age of AI, it is moving so fast that what will happen in the next 1 or 2 years, we even do not know. So metacognition is very important. I mean, our competency-based curriculum, we really emphasize on metacognition, lifelong learning, and the self-learning is part of our new curriculum. So, and now if we're talking about the teachers, we're trying to train our teachers so that they are AI ready. Basically, the competency-based curriculum is planned in a way that if they really go through this planned activity, the students will be able to cope with the situation and they will be able to go through the metacognition ideas so that they will be able to learn by themselves. So there are some challenges. We have to train all of our teachers with the professionals, professional training. We have to collaborate with the AI expert, and we have to give them some hands-on experience. In this particular area, we have to make sure that each and every teacher have that access, and at the same time, we have to give them continuous support and resources. And from NCT, we're trying to accommodate all these areas so that we can really prepare our workforce as teachers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Getting a sense that maybe there's a notion of interest as well, both teachers and learners will have to prepare themselves going forward, and I guess all of us in that sense. So then I'll just move to Dr. Khan just to be related to what's going on with the curriculum. So we talked about teacher training, but I was wondering from a planning and decision-making perspective, like how can AI support you? Like what kind of data analysis and representation may help you in your work, and can AI play a role in supporting you directly?
Yes, thank you. Actually, planning teacher training is a huge task. We have to deal with lots of information from announcement, calling application from the applicant, selecting trainees, trainers, venues, remuneration allowance, everything, whether the training is offline or online or blended, what is the impact of the training. So we have to collect lots of data after conducting the training. AI-powered teacher training can definitely help to predict the training or the need assessment, or to help us to plan personalized training plans like this. Now, using data from different sources will definitely will give us a good relief to get data to make some data-driven decision and instruction. I mean, if we I mean, I was just laughing just a few minutes back. I was wondering, before attending this webinar, I had to collect lots of information, asking, calling different colleagues to get the information from them so that I can summarize. Actually, we are collecting data through a software in Training Wing that is called Smart Training Management System, which is STMS. But this is a software, and we keep all this record in a spreadsheet. We don't know even how to integrate data and AI tools together. But if AI-powered tool is used, it would be more convenient. Will definitely help us to drop our spreadsheet from Excel into AI tool and analyze the data and make a data-driven decision. At the same time, actually, we need some clear guidelines from the Ministry of Education regarding the AI integration along with the technical assistance, because our schools should invest in robust digital infrastructure, ensuring seamless AI adoption, reliable internet connectivity, access to AI-enabled devices, which are very essential in order to make the data-driven decision. Right now, we have actually trained only 450 teachers on AI who have accomplished the orientation part only. They do not even know how to use the AI tools. So we are not in a position to tell you that we are now on board, but at least we can say that we have started the journey. And also I would like to mention that we have got 130 ICT teachers recruited from the Public Service Commission, who are basically computer engineers, and and we are hopeful that the decisions on AI-driven tools can be taken with their help. Thank you very much.
Okay, no, thank you, and hopefully, like, we get to hear more in the
I'd like to add one more thing. Actually, today is World Autism Day, and our Honorable Minister is going to be the chief guest of this program, and I have to host the program. I'm the anchor of this program, so if you allow me, I would like to leave the platform right now, but I'll be stay connected with you through.
Yeah, wrapping up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for supporting. I think I'll come back to Ms. Tang. I think I mean hopefully get some time again just to I mean, we haven't really talked about, like, of course, some of the ethical considerations that now come to AI, some of the challenges that we all have to face. So I'm wondering that how is TAL leveraging public-private partnerships to promote the ethical use of AI in education at home and abroad? So just
okay, thank you. In China, in 2019, TAL has been entitled by the Ministry of Science and Technology of People's Republic of China. That's the department of government that focus on the science and technology. We are as the primary constructor of China's national AI open platform. And in this cooperation, the Ministry of Science and Technology, the government guides the direction of investment and helps build the ecosystem. And TAL, the company that we deliver and find research and development and build AI infrastructure and the sector. I think that we are in pursuit of the risk sharing and encourage the application of AI in education. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I think from the different panelists regarding, like, how AI is currently being used to improve our student learning, how it's being used to improve our teacher training, and also not just the stories in Bangladesh, but also in India and China as well, and of course before we've heard it from Finland too. I'll just give one just 30 seconds for our final panelist. Sattar sir, if you just want to share that any takeaway you had from the session, and then we'll hear from Ms. Tang as well, and then we'll wrap up. So Sattar sir, any final takeaway from what you've heard?
Yeah, I think the keynote paper presented by the professor, I find it very interesting, and I think if we had the opportunity from the NCTB to share our experience, and we can gather some collaboration with our professor, with esteemed professor, so that we can have better understanding how can we really enforce the formative assessment and pedagogy in our classroom situation. That would be very wonderful for all of us. And I also I'm very much thankful for all the audience and the UNICEF and the A2I for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you. That is all. Thank you.
No, thank you, Professor. I guess a success of a panel discussion is that if this discussion continues even after the panel, and I think hopefully it leads to more collaboration. So, Ms. Tang, any final takeaway from you regarding all that you've heard, and then we'll close. Yeah.
Yes, that I think that we are from the stories from today, that I think we are in the right direction, that we should explore the application of AI in education, especially in the countries that in the classroom there are many students in the class, the large class size. With the AI support, I think that they can enjoy the personalized exercise, personalized learning from the support of the technology.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you again, panelists, for your insights and for the guests for your questions. I hope some of them have been addressed. I'll pass it back to Hua from UNESCO to consolidate today's event.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shakil, for this enlightening, panel discussion. I myself also learned a lot from all the panelists. I will pass the floor quickly to Susan Weiss, our head of office, to deliver her closing remarks. Sue, are you there?
Yes, thank you, everybody. This has been a really interesting webinar and worth the extra few minutes that we're running over time, I think, to hear all of these valuable remarks. So I really appreciate the time that everybody has put in. And Minister, I see you're still with us, so thank you very much also for devoting your time to listening to this. And I as Hua said earlier, we do know it's a topic of great interest to you and the ministry. So thank you very much for being here. And we really appreciate that you are supporting the webinar series, and you've been with us here today in particular to inaugurate this as the first of the sessions. I'd also like to thank our two speakers for setting the scene so well today. Professor Mikko, who got up very bright and early this morning in Finland to be with us here. So yes, and he even look awake, so that's a good thing. So thank you very much for that. And I think the fact that you're at the cutting edge of what's happening in AI assessment is fantastic for the audience here in Bangladesh to be able to hear about what's happening in Finland and the knowledge that you can bring. Mr. Shefatul Islam also talking about what Bangladesh has achieved. Again, Bangladesh, as I said at the beginning with AI, it's quite well advanced compared to many countries and really taking this issue seriously. I think the Minister mentioned investing in this since 2008 in his opening remarks, and I think that just shows that this is something that has been building for a long time, and clearly the effort that goes into this in Bangladesh is very significant. The panelists, so firstly to Mr. Shakil Ahmed, thank you so much for being the moderator. I think that the panel again was a good opportunity to delve into some of the issues in a little bit more detail. The panelists all have given us some really interesting food for thought here too. I also appreciate the fact that we have overseas guests joining us for this as well, particularly from India and China. And we've heard a range of different types of practices and also some of the development that's going on with tools, because I think that's pretty important from China with Ms. Tang, what is happening and comparing the tools. I recently went to a seminar on plagiarism and fact-checking using AI, and I myself was actually astounded at how many different things are out there already, because it's not something I've followed. So already we can see with these types of assessments, there is so much available in the systems, and this in itself creates an issue about what do we use, what do we decide to use, and how do we get the best value products and the products that suit the situation and can be adapted to the needs of the country. So and also from Bangladesh we had Professor Buaya and Dr. Khan, who also talked a bit more about some of the practical examples here, which was great to see, particularly some of the issues for teachers. And I really appreciate that, because teachers are going to be carrying the burden of a lot of this, particularly with assessment, and AI and digital technology, and all of this can be something quite difficult for teachers to take on if it's not something that they were experienced with before. So for them, this could be quite a daunting task. And I think we also have to remember that the AI is there to support the teachers and not to replace the teachers, and their knowledge is what's really important in driving some of this. Also, one of the things that I think comes out fairly strongly with AI, that the AI technology, and I think the results of the different models that Ms. Tang showed demonstrate this, it's data-driven. And so and different models come out with different results on the same data,
but also the data that we feed into it is a really important way. That how do we make sure that the data is accurate? How do we make sure there's not cheating or things like this, that there's an ethical aspect to this too? So all of these things around data security and understanding how we actually collect and use data will be quite important too, and another whole skill set that we need to use. I also appreciate the fact that the audience has been really active in the Q&A. Lots of really good questions. I saw that there was a line of questioning about even changing the type of assessment from, exam-based to now doing things related to competency-related or continuous monitoring rather than just doing exams, which put stress on the students as well as aren't necessarily reflective of what one has actually learned. And if we can actually move to competency-based, which AI models have the potential to do this on a scale that is quite different. And it was quite interesting. Our example from Bangladesh was talking specifically about some of those competencies that they're trying to track, like critical thinking skills and those which are really looking at the competencies. So that is really looking into the core of how we would change the assessment from exam-based with one outcome score to really understanding what skills and competencies the students have learned. So it's also fantastic that Bangladesh is already making progress on that. So the next session is going to be related to developing and forecasting skills in the AI area, and it will discuss what are the implications for AI in technical and vocational education and training. And with the power of AI to forecast the changes in the job market, what are the responses from the education sector? So thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you to our partner A2I and all of the support from many, many staff in the A2I team. Thank you so much also to Hubba and Jerry and the team at UNESCO who put this all together. We've had a great turnout and I think it's been a really interesting session. So look forward to seeing you all next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, and your team. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
See you next time. Yeah. Bye-bye.